Hey, I'm ElusiveKev, welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the rider career, as Patrick McDonald is right up there in the championship, but he needs a couple of victories to be right at the top. Let's see if he can get one in France. As here we are around the Bugatti circuit in Le Mans for 2 laps of drenched madness in qualifying. It is pouring it down. The heavens are opened. I don't know how they will close up again during this weekend, but we will see for the race. As here we go for the first of what should be 2 time laps for Patrick McDonald. Normally he's a wet weather master, and this is just the weather he wanted to see maybe in qualifying. As he gets all over the curb in the first corner. Well, hooks up the apex. So we go under the Dunlop Bridge, the famous Dunlop Bridge here. Instead of going left, we go right. And go on to the Bugatti circuit. That's all, he has to take 2 bites to get on the power. The rear end will be all over the place on this lap. But at least he's near the apex, is McDonald. And again, having to take 2 bites at the power there, but nice and smooth down this back straight, heading downhill into the double right. This is what you find around this circuit: straights and corners that lead into other loads of chicanes as well. It's very different from its bigger brother. Here we go through the left. Short shift up to third, through the right, get smooth exit. Now into the right hander. Oh, runs a bit wide, McDonald. Gets nicely on the power. And into the left. Nice and smooth, can use the camber of that corner, hook up the apex. Then the double right where you rejoin the famous circuit. Through the chicane. And across the line with a 39 for that. And that's the only lap McDonald needed to do, as he takes pole by 1.5 seconds. All the other riders doing as the circuit got wetter. They were in worse conditions than McDonald, who went out right at the beginning of the session. And it shows, with Mark in second, Luti in third. Morbidelli, the championship leader, leading the second row ahead of Passini and Oliveira. With Bagnaia in 7th ahead of Baldassare and Nakagami, with Shirota rounding out the top 10 with Ika at the back. So let's see if Patrick McDonald's rain dance has continued to work for the race. It hasn't, but the track is still very wet as the riders depart for the warm-out lap. And look at that, light still on pole. Magnum on the front row as well. It should be a great race for Interwetten, hopefully. As we look further down the field, we will see their teammate Raffin down in 22nd, leading the 8th ahead of Simone Corsi on that speed up. Been very impressive start to the season. Gardner in 24th. And then their other team at Ika right at the back. As here we are, revving up the engine, waiting for the lights to appear. And go out for this 7-lap race. And a nice smooth start from McDonald. And got virtually no one else behind, it sounds like. He's just motored away already. Let's go towards the first couple of corners. Being nice and gentle on the brakes. Nice and gentle on the power as well. Look at that smooth exit. As he's going to try and race around this first lap, just like Circuit of the Americas. And look at, he's just 2nd ahead of Alex Marquez. And Franco Morbidelli up to 3rd. Where's Luti gone? As he disappeared on the first lap again, old Thomas. As he go through the left-hander. Slightly wide. Gets on the power nicely. And all into the dirt. Onto the grass. But he's now 2 seconds ahead of Marquez. Morbidelli's still in 3rd. Or should I say 2nd now, ahead of his teammate. That is not good for the championship. With Oliveira now ahead of Marquez, he got shuffled down with that double right, has he? But keep an eye on the situation behind, no cause for the championship. As Oliveira up to 2nd ahead of Morbidelli. Are they having a ding-dong battle? Just like they had in the Circuit of the Americas, once again behind Patrick McDonald. He leads by 1.75 seconds. Let's go into the final sector of this opening lap. You can see it's good sunshine overhead. Clouds are clearing. Just that deluge for qualifying. And the track hasn't cleared up in time. 2.6 second lead for McDonald as he gone to the second lap. Ahead of Oliveira. He definitely is battling hard with Morbidelli once again. No doubt McDonald did the fastest at 42.6 on the opening lap. I bet he's going to be a bit quicker this time around. Especially if he can just keep hooking up these apex. They've been very smooth with the bike. You see short shifting up to third, ensuring he gets that smooth exit out of the corners. You can see the track already drying up. That racing line. But we've got wet tyres on, so we don't want to dry it too quickly during this race. Goes downhill into the double right, 4 seconds ahead of the Oliveira. The Rain Masters at show once again. As there's the helicopter pilot again hovering. This time not in the middle of the track. It seems he's going to the outskirts now. So at least someone's told him how to fly the helicopter. But I don't think he's in the right spot. Needs to be more near the centre. Maybe a helicopter pilot. We got 4.4 seconds ahead over the Vieira now. Look at this McDonald showing once again when he gets into the lead, he gets into his own. And then no one can match him. Like we have seen with Morbidelli as well earlier this season. And like we saw with Alex Marquez last round in Spain. And look at 39 for that. No one's going to go close to that time, are they? 5 seconds in the lead. To go on to the third lap. Just got to keep it nice and smooth, McDonald. Keep those tyres in check as well as this track dries up. Look at that, you already got a virtual dry line on the exit. That racing line really is emerging on this third lap. Still nice and smooth on the power. Go into the left hand and nicely hooked up. Got to be very careful on the power out of this corner with his back straight. He does it nicely. Now downhill into the double right. So easy to outbrake yourself into that first right. As I'm guessing that's Axel Pons down from 16th. Spaniard always challenging for a point or two. Well, he won't be getting one today. Interesting to see if Simone Corsi keeps his point scoring streak up. 4 from 4 so far for the Italian on that speed up. Very impressive. Carrying that constructor towards not bottom in the championship, towards Tech 3. We expect to maybe challenge Suter this season, but Savi and Remy Gard have just not been as impressive. I'd have Suter really. You know, Shirota, 1 point score. Sandro Cortese, 1 point score. Tommy Agata. Danny Kemp with just single point scores. As McDonald gets into 38, it's 38.9. Maybe he doesn't mind this track drying up as on this fourth lap. That's a bit wide in the first part of the chicane, but picks the bike up beautifully for the second. Nice smooth exit once again. You see running slightly offline intentionally to cool these tyres. But look at that, virtually dry throughout the whole of the circuit on the exit with the right hander. Got to be careful on this final lap then. Very nice and smooth exit. Let's go downhill. He's way ahead of Oliveira. He's ahead of Morbidelli though. So McDonald taking good points in the championship out of him and Alex Marquez. He's not on the podium, remember. Spaniard with his victory last time out, taking back second in the championship. Over the rider you're seeing on your screen now. But he may lose it just as quickly if he finishes off the podium. Good to see Morbidelli down in third. Maybe Marcus get Morbidelli help really helped with the championship. Have the Italian off the podium for the first time this season. Goes out the final corner onto the 5th lap. Once again, low 39. He's just in a nice rhythm. These high 38s, low 39s. And you often see this round them on with the weather as well. You see it with Assen as well later in the season, Silverstone of course, Trinidad Motegi. Rain dancers do tend to work around those places, definitely has worked here. Once again, short shifting up to third to get that smooth exit. Now that right hander. So he really hooks up the hairpin here. Again, short shifting up to third. Going to be doing X over every corner, is he? You can see it's really drying up now, the track. There's enough water around that the tyres aren't getting too hot. We've got the wet tyres on, full wets. Don't get inters, I believe, in Moto 2 or Moto 3. It's full wets or dries or slicks. I believe it's only MotoGP that has the inters available. Do correct me if I'm wrong, down below. But there's Oliveira in second, holding off Morbidelli. Doing a great job, the Portuguese rider. He hasn't won in that KTM so far this season, but he's always up there challenging for a podium. As that's a bit leery into the penultimate corner from McDonald. Taking lots of curb as well, the final corner. But still, it's a 39 flat. As it going to penultimate lap of the race. Because I wonder where Luti is as well. Looks like Thomas is not doing well once again after a fantastic qualifying. Definitely has qualifying pace. But not demonstrating the race pace. Unfortunately, and dropping out the top 5 in the championship. But of course, he finished last season. So they go wide into the wet stuff. And Morbidelli making his move on Oliveira up to second. As he'd just been waiting all this time, the Italian, to make his move on the Portuguese rider. As in, it's like the helicopter pilot has finally figured out how to get towards the centre of the track. Finally get some better images of McDonald leading by a country mile. As Oliveira back by into second. Ahead of Morbidelli. We are going to get a battle in these last few laps of the race. As there is the helicopter. I said he was going to get near the centre. He's just decided to go onto the back straight now, instead of the outskirts of the circuit. Seriously, someone get him a map. He's going to the final couple corners of this penultimate lap. Hear this once again from McDonald. His first victory in Cote was never headed. And once again in France, it looks like that's going to be the case once again. So going to the start-finish line. On to the final lap of the race, 38.9. What do I go for a fastest lap on this final lap? Shouldn't really with these wet tyres on this almost dry track, as you can see. And nicely through the first chicane. And then under the famous Dunlop Bridge. You know you're racing at Le Mans when you see that. And through the right hand, short shifting up to third. Running wide into the water. And into the hairpin. Taking too tight a line there. Too good. Runs wide into the dirt once again, just like the first lap. And downhill into the double right. Nice and smooth on the exit. Just about. Let's look at this back straight. 30 bone dry all over the place. Let's head into the final couple of corners of what's been a routine French Motorcycle Grand Prix for Patrick McDonald. Just a Sunday ride once again for him. The battle for second, it had heated up a lap ago. Looks like it's calmed down again with Oliveira remaining in second. Ahead of Franco Morbidelli, the championship leader. But with 2 laps 2 laps, 2 corners to go. Patrick McDonald does not have to worry about that battle behind. He can wave to the fans and celebrate another victory this season, his second in 5 races. His 3rd podium as well of the season, as he wins by 10.8 seconds ahead of Olivia. He's a 10th of a second ahead of Morbidelli, with Alex Marquez in 4th, Baldassarri 5th, Bagnaia 6th, Luti down in 7th, not good for the Swiss rider. Bassini in 8th, Sabi 9th, Ruini ran out the top 10 ahead of Quartararo, Nakagami, Danny Kent, Agata and Shirota. Just the same Suter weren't having a good season. Look at that, they round out the points places, with Xavier Simon just missing out a point once again for the Belgians, 6/10 of a second off a point in Fetchby, his home race as well, with Pauli at the back. So in the championship, Morbidelli leads by 19 points ahead of McDonald, who's climbed back into second ahead of Alex Marquez, thanks to having his 2nd race win of the season ahead of Marquez. He's just won from Spain the last time out, with Oliveira in 4th, Luti 5th, Baldassarri 6th, Bassini in 7th, Bagnaia 8th, Savi 9th and Nakagami in 10th. Further down, you got Danny Kent up to 17th ahead of Marcel Shirota, Remy Gardner and Isaac Vinales. And right at the back, you have got Edgar Pons up to 28th ahead of Manzi and Jorge Navarro. New constructors standings 5 for 5 for Calex, 44 points ahead of KTM, who are 46 ahead of Tech 3, who are 17 ahead of Suter, or just 10 ahead of Speed Up. So there's a very happy Patrick McDonald. The rain dance worked, the bike worked, everything worked that weekend. A perfect weekend, a great response to Spain. They made another mistake, as yes, the Cologne show will be partying hard with some wine tonight, as Olivia and Morbidelli exchanging notes on another battle for second. Really was a perfect weekend. It's now to end the first third of the season. We head to the Mugello circuit and Italy. Can Patrick McDonald grab another victory? Yes, here we are, set up for another qualifying effort of 2 laps for Patrick McDonald. The 6th round of the season here in Italy. On the circuit, which he's pretty good round. Hasn't always grabbed the results like he did last season in Moto2. Let's see if he can turn things around this year, this season, as he goes for his first qualifying effort. Braking around 70 metres into that first corner. Too late though. Runs wide. Definitely need a second effort then. But let's see what he can do in his banker lap. He's sliding the bike everywhere. Nice and smooth on the power though, through the right hander. The end of the first sector. This is a fast circuit. Oh, the brakes are not working on this lap. You saw that. Front wheel tapering, it felt like. So we go downhill through the right 3rd gear. And pick it up for the left. Running slightly wide though, McDonald. Getting down to 3rd as you go uphill. You don't really need to brake too much into these right-handers. Just make sure you don't get on the power too early. Now into the chicane, where it's very easy to outbrake yourselves and run wide. And Rona good at that, but he doesn't there, Patrick McDonald. Nicely hooked up, and now downhill. Through the right hander, he's run wide once again. Again onto the tarmac runoff. Another fast chicane. The fastest of them all at the end of the lap. And then the long radius left-hander. What a beautiful corner downhill. You're just going to pick your spot to nail the throttle. Which Patrick McDonald does around mid-road through the corner. And let's see if this is a good lap. Going to be a 53, is it? 54 for that. Not sure that is good from Patrick McDonald. We will see though. As now he's got riders coming out all over the place for their qualifying efforts. Well, he's hit up the apex of the first corner. Hits up the apex of the left-hander as well. And to the right-hander, chucking the bike at the apexes on this lap. Much better than his first lap. But only gained around 0.3 of a second. That's Alex Marquez. 53.8. So that was a good first effort from McDonald. It can be better. Let's go downhill with this fast sweeping chicane. He's got a rider right in front. I believe that's Dominic Agata. Look at that, he's 4/10 down. Lost lots of time in that sector. And then through the right, went a bit wide going in, had to brake a lot with Patrick McDonald. Nicely into the apex. Running slightly wide through the left. And he used the curb on the exit. Now can he nail the apex of this right-hander? That's much better than the previous lap. Picks up the power nice and early. He's 6/10 down though on Alex Marquez, but they go very aggressive for the fast chicane. That's what Patrick McDonald gives you. Always 110%. Nice and smooth on the power as well in the final corner. As Morbidi does a 53.6. Let's see if McDonald can better that. And if he's bettered his 54 flat, he has. That's a 53.8. And it's only the second row alongside Oliveira and Marquez for Patrick McDonald ahead of Nakagami, Baldassari and Shirota with Savi. Rounding out the top 10, you got Ika at the back. But look at your pole, man. It's the veteran, it's Bassini. Normally comes alive at Magellan. He's done it again in qualifying with 6,000 of a second ahead of Luti with Morbidelli. Not a home favourite in third. So let's see what Patrick McDonald can do in the race. As we look at the grid with gnarly Magnum in second and Light still in sixth. But Passini on pole. What a result. As you look further down, someone's already crashed on the warm-up lap. Look at that, a number of riders crashed on the warm-up lap. What is going on? Hopefully it doesn't happen into the first corner or during this race for McDonald. It's happened in the past. As you look through the field, you've got huge suspects everywhere. So we've got a long run to the first corner as we wait for the lights up here. And go out for this 6-lap race. Let's see what Patrick McDonald can do. He's already up to fourth, ahead of Morbidelli. There's Marquez. Or should I say Marquez and Morbidelli now? Is he going to make it free ride into the first corner? No, the Mark VDS bikes will. But he makes it free. He does make it free ride in the first corner, actually. Down the inside, up into second behind Passini. So the veteran Italian leads ahead of McDonald. Mark VDS twins behind. And Luti down to fifth, it looks like. He's got Marcus ahead of Morbidelli. And round the outside of McDonald. Very aggressive from the younger Marquez. Expect that from Mark, but not Alex. And now here comes Oliveira pushing McDonald wide. And they clash. And now Baldassari up to sit ahead of the Portuguese rider. You're quite right for using his positions for that tactic against McDonald. As now McDonald goes down the inside of not just Luti, not just Marquez, but around the outside of Morbidelli as well. Fantastic move. As Marquez gets ahead of his teammate now into third. And look who's leading. It's Bassini. Marching away. That's now Luti ahead of Morbidelli. That's fantastic for the championship if Morbidelli's battling for the top 5. Well, he gets back past Thomas. Let's go through the fast chicane. Good exit for McDonald. He's a second behind Passini. He's got Marquez right in his arse though. Let's go through the final corner. Running wide. Just choosing when to pick his spot to nail that throttle. Let's see if he's getting any slipstream off the Italian down this long start-finish straight. Towards the first corner as the crowd cheer as we go on to the second lap. As Luti's ahead of Morbidelli. McDonald's in stalking mode. Got Marcus 7/10 of a second behind in third. It's down to fifth now behind Morbidelli. As Luca Marini in his home race, he's down from 27th. He's not going to be scoring points this race, and McDonald did the fastest. I'm not opening up. 59.7. But now he's got Thomas behind him. Got Bassini almost a second in front. But he holds off his teammate. into that chicane, and like what he did with Marquez the previous lap. Now can he just set on into a rhythm in second? That's the main thing, and maybe battle for the lead later, but that's what he tried last season, of course, didn't he? Did not work against Franco Morbidelli. Maybe it'll work against a tougher customer in Matteo Bassini, though. He'll be defending this victory with his life. As Luti third ahead of Morbidelli. Oh, McDonald having a little lurk into the fast right. Bassini makes a slight mistake. McDonald can't make a move though. Well, it's a good exit out the chicane. Right in the slipstream of the Italian. Can't quite make a move into the final corner, can he? He's left the door open as Bassini. Why has he done that? Of course McDonald's going to take the lead from you if you do that. We've got Morbidelli up to third ahead of Luti as he goes into the third lap of this race. McDonald is where he needs to be, where he wants to be as well. Quarter of a second ahead of Bassini. Does the fast out 54.7. Whoa, look at Matteo go! Into the first corner, takes back that lead with a dive bomb. He's got Luti up to third ahead of Morbidelli. Oh, well, tries it back into the left-hander. Doesn't quite work though. As he got a heck of a battle for the lead. Heck of a battle for third as well behind. Over a second behind is Morbidelli and Luti. So where's Alex Marquez? He dropped off that battle for third though. It could be very important for the championship. Same with Oliveira, if his first lap transgressions have been penalised with him stuck in the midfield. Battling with Baldassari. Or Bagnaia as well. Where is the VR46 machine in this race? No doubt wanted to do well. He's got the likes of Stefano Manti. Simone Corsi as well on the speed up. His point scoring streak ended in it last time out. So he's scoring points once again on home turf. So here's McDonald using all that. Look at that again, so strong in this sector compared to Bassini. And got a superb exit out of the chicane. He's looking to the outside. Looking to the inside, is he? Once again, Matteo leaving the door open, but not unable to take advantage this time around. As they are neck and neck with Slipstream as they cross the line into the second half of this race. It's McDonald leading just by 34,000 on the second of Bassini. Then you got Morbidelli in third as once again Bassini takes that inside line into the first corner. Blocks off McDonald on the exit. But what a battle for the race win we got. That's all he takes a better look into that left-hander. Into the right as he's stolen it from Bassini. Has Baldassari up to fourth head of Morbidelli. Luti third. What is going on behind? As it looks like McDonald's taken the lead from Bassini. Can he hold on though? Especially into that first corner on the next lap. He needs to be gunning it, McDonald now. Try and build a gap on the Italian. And then he's got the order the helicopter to start spinning up, warm it up. Because he's got to have a quick exit if he beats Bassini. Beats an Italian to victory here. May not be Rossi. But so you're beating one of their own. To go into the right-hander. Taking all of that curb and McDonald very hooked up. He's always go laps in the middle part of the race and he's doing it again. Look at that beautiful hills in front. He gets slightly distracted going into the right-hander. So McDonald still hooks up the apex in the end. Still gets a good exit. Not riding the chicane either. He's over 6 tenths ahead of Bassini. Luti in third. It could be a double podium for Interwetten. Been threatening it. I'm not sure what's happened so far this season. It's all Morbidelli up to third though. Just ahead of Luti. Just what I was talking about. Jinxed the Swiss rider. as he got into penultimate lap of the race. Patrick McDonald is flying in Italy. 1.3 seconds ahead of Pacini. Wannabe have to nip down his insider thing into the first corner for the first time this race. And hooks up the apex beautifully. Just like in France, he's motoring again. As he got Luti taking back that third ahead of Morbidelli. Oh, the old man's got some fight in him in this race. Does the other old man Pacini have as well? 1.2 back of McDonald. I'm not sure he has. He's just throwing through these corners, and we were thinking of the championship as well, with Morbidelli maybe off the podium, McDonald winning. It will really tighten up at the end of the first third of the season. So we go through the right hander at the bottom of the hill. Oh, Pacini gaining. He's the second behind now. Just right off the Italian, he's responding. And the part of that, but it's this part of that where McDonald is so good through this chicane, nailing these apexes. And then that long right hand and the fast chicane that follows. But he really hooks up the apex here. And slightly wide, and it hooks up on the exit. It's Morbidelli back to third ahead of Luti. Championship leader does not want to go up this home podium. 1.7 ahead of Pacini now. There you go. Very strong sector for McDonald. It's going to the final corner. Nice and smooth on the power. Let's go down this long start finish straight for the penultimate of the time to go on to the final lap of the race. 54.2 from McDonald. He is consistent, this kid. 2.4 ahead of Pacini. He's looking very comfortable with the victory once again. What an episode this has been. The rain dance has worked. And now his bike is working like a treat on this fast Mugello circuit. As Luti and Morbidelli still exchanging positions. They're exchanging phone numbers for the grid girls, no doubt. Let's go through the left and right. Now going down the hill, half a lap to go for McDonald for a second consecutive victory. For the first time this season. He's won half the races so far this season, 3 from 6 as well. Which, when you consider Morbidelli started with 2 from 2, pretty impressive from the Interwetten rider. As he goes through the right hander. Just a couple of chicanes to go and a couple of long radius corners to go. Goes a bit wide on the right, but all uses the rear of that bike to get it towards the apex of the left hander. Now the long radius right hander. Keep it in third, goes slightly wide, and then the bike goes towards the apex. And now the fast chicane. Clipping both the apex, nice and smooth from McDonald, just one corner to go. Downhill through the left hander. Get your chainsaws motoring. And quickly run, McDonald, after this race, as he's going to win in Italy. Morbidelli takes third from Luti, but we hold it at the line. McDonald holds on to this victory. 3 from 6, 2 in a row. What a spell for Patrick McDonald. 4.7 seconds ahead of Pacini, who's way ahead of Morbidelli. In second, what a ride from the Italian ahead of his fellow countrymen. With Luti in 4th, Marquez in 5th, Baldassarri 6th. Oliveira in 7th. Look how close it was for 3rd. Just 0.6 of a second cover the 5 riders. With Nakagami in 8th. Bagnaia in 9th on home turf. Making it 4 Italians in the top 9. With Sabi in 10th. Ayata 11th. Courtois 12th. Corsi in 13th on the speed up. Sandro Cortese with more points in 15th, 14th. Ahead of his teammate Shirota in 15th. With Danny Ken in 16th. 6/10 off. A point for the Brit with Ika at the back. So in the championship, after 6 rounds, McDonald is 10 points behind Morbidelli and 14 ahead of Marquez, with Oliveira in 4th. Pacini into the top 5 ahead of Luti and Baldassarri, with Courtois up to 11th ahead of Marini, with Nakagami round at the top. 10, and further down you've got Jorge Navarro up ahead of Manzi to 29th with Lokite at the back. As in the constructor standing 6 from 6 for Kalex, 60 points ahead of KTM, who are 49 ahead of Tech 3. They're 18 ahead of Suter, with Speed Up in 5th, 12 points back. And yes, on from the French wine to the Italian wine tonight for McDonald and the clones and Luti, as well as Esposini and Morbidelli. Very happy with their home podiums in the background. But the eyes are back, and McDonald is charging. As a perfect weekend. And where does McDonald go? Does he go up to MotoGP? Could go to Suzuki or LCR Honda, Tech 3 Yamaha, Pramac, Gresini, Aspar, Avintia, KTM and Mark VDS. Or in Moto2 he has his choice of teams. Mark VDS could go to KTM, could stick with the Interwetten machine or go to the other team. Then you got Ford Racing. You got all of the teams. So he's been good alongside Luti, but I think you should go to KTM maybe. He's switching from Monster to Red Bull now. Yes. So let's see what Patrick McDonald can do on this KTM in Spain for the second time this season, round the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya and round the classic TT Circuit Assen in the Netherlands next time out. Can it be a winning debut on the Red Bull, and can he charge into the championship lead? Find out next time. So unfortunately, I'll see you then.